Before I get going, I'd just like to apologise for my voice. I've got a cold. I haven't been able to shift it for about a week. Earlier today I took some medication, but these were tablets I found in the bottom of my bag, and after taking them I realised they are 3 years out of date, so I may well be recording my own death. Next I'd like to say, stop the world, I want to get off, because there is yet another conspiracy theory doing the rounds. This one centres around a photograph which was taken in 1898 in Canada, which has recently resurfaced at the University of Washington. And the photograph is of 3 children working in a field, but the child in the foreground looks exactly like the Swedish climate change activist Greta Thunberg. Now, I'm no expert, but I think it's been photoshopped, and even if it hasn't, all it proves is that 121 years ago someone was alive who looks like someone who is currently alive. But the conspiracy nuts are saying that Greta is in fact a time traveller who's been sent back in time to save us from the upcoming climate emergency. Now, if that is the case, we can all breathe a huge sigh of relief, because clearly whatever we're about to do has worked, because humanity has survived the extinction level event in order to send someone back. I'm so happy I might go and burn some plastic to celebrate. But I will say, if time travellers are visiting us, I'd hope they do it with a bit more pizzazz. Rock up in a DeLorean with a shitload of proof proving they are who they say they are, rather than employ the tactic which the conspiracy theory suggests, where I imagine the elders in the future are going, we need to warn our ancestors. We should send one of our own back to the end of the 19th century to have their photograph taken in the off chance that in the year 2019 someone at a university will see it and put 2 and 2 together. And who shall we send back? Now, I want to say Greta is doing some inspirational work, but if these people in the future are going, why don't we send back a teenage girl with a 1,000-yard stare and a voice that can splinter wood? And for the first few months of her campaign, we'll have her just vaguely sitting outside the Swedish Parliament. This sounds like the shittest version of a Terminator film ever. In fact, if you can recall the iconic scene in T2 Judgment Day, where the T-800 walks into the biker's bar and demands your clothes, your boots and your motorcycle, that wouldn't work with this scenario, because the jacket and the boots are made of leather and the Harley Davidson runs on fossil fuel. The Terminator would have had a lot less gravitas if he'd been driving a Nissan Leaf. But just to prove this conspiracy theory is bullshit, it's as mad as it sounds, Greta recently had to get a lift when the climate change event she was attending, sorry I went a bit vague there, I'm feeling ill, was moved 6,000 miles, so she had to hitch a lift. So if she was from the future, she'd know that was going to happen. I fucking give up.